Okay, here we are with the LG G3 55-inch variation on the home menu, and we're going to hit the OK button, and hopefully it just does this magic. Now we're going to select English, right? Going to hit next. It's like super sped up, which is funny. Alright, so do you want to keep the audio? No, we're not going to keep that audio guidance nonsense on. The state is United States, or the country is United States. And then we're going to go ahead and hit next. Then it's going to ask us for the time zone. I'm just going to go ahead and put New York for Eastern Standard Time. And then we're going to go ahead and hit next. Now it's going to ask how we want it to be set up, whether we want to use a mobile device or if we want to do TV. So we're going to go ahead and use TV and just set it up that way. And since it's the first use, we're not going to exit the first use. Now, there also is a little point here where it says store mode. We can go ahead and select store mode, and that will allow us to kind of like activate the store demo and all that stuff, and it'll initialize every couple of minutes or whatever. It won't destroy the review process or anything like that. It's just snapping it into the store mode to activate the demo content if you so choose, which you can disable later on. So I will go ahead and enter the store mode. Now you'll notice that it gets significantly brighter, basically defeating all the energy saving stuff so that it gives you the most impact for the retail store lights, which are naturally really bright, so it wants to overpower it, yada yada. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. So it's going to ask you for your Wi-Fi, and you're going to put in your Wi-Fi password, and then you're going to go ahead and hit enter. Now it's bringing up the terms and conditions, which you can skip at any point in time. I'm just going to go ahead and skip, and it's going to say, are you sure? And you can just go ahead and say skip. Now this is an important thing to note at this time, because usually when you have Sony TVs, which are almost immediately going to be compared to the G3, particularly the A95L and the A80L, don't know why you'd do that, but you could compare the A80L since it is a WOLED. You're immediately going to be met with Google's first forced terms of service, where LG just lets you skip past all that. Now right now Samsung is a lot like LG in that they allow you to skip the terms of service and go back to it later if you want to use the Wi-Fi features, which I think is something that should be adopted across the board. So that is a very positive thing for LG. Now it's going to ask you about the HDMI devices you have selected. I don't have any devices selected, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. And then it's going to ask you the ways you like to watch, whether it's cable and satellite through an HDMI, cable and satellite through an antenna port on the TV, the antenna, or you can just go ahead and say none, which I'm just going to say none and go to the next. They're going to ask for the area code. They always do this, which is the one thing you can't opt out of, which is kind of annoying, but we just have to input it anyway. Now it's going to go ahead and ask you if you want it wall mounted or if you want it on a stand. So for the way that I have it positioned here, I guess I could technically have it as like wall mounted since we don't have the stand yet. So we're going to go ahead and just say wall mounted. And all the AI Sound Pro stuff is on. We're going to skip it so we don't get hit with a copyright. Then it's going to ask you if you want the wallpaper ready, always ready. I mean, you can. It's up to you. I'll go ahead and enable it. Why not? Then we're going to go ahead and hit next. And we're done. Off the bat, the brightness is really pretty. Explore the world with your LG TV. So dramatic. But I would rather be dramatic and eccentric than not. Alright, so we're greeted with the home menu here, and this is basically pretty simple, right? You have all the things we kind of know. We have LG channel, apps, Wi-Fi kicks in, and then you have access to all the other stuff that's kind of hidden behind that internet connection, like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Hulu, Sling, Apple TV, and the list goes on, so on and so forth. And yeah, you get an idea as to what it can and can't do as far as apps, because they're kind of all here, and it's pretty much what we would expect, right? And then they have games, and then you can click on game, and then it'll show you like all the terms and conditions and all this nonsense, and you can see the two that are in red that you like have to select these kinds of terms of service and all that nonsense, and then you can just go to agree, and then now you'll be allowed to access certain things. And it says, again, it's the third-party streaming stuff for the gaming aspect of your television. So again, you have all that stuff here, and of course there is GeForce Now for people who have a GeForce Now subscription. You can access that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's fairly simplistic. But I will say I like that TVs are giving you the option to have things like GeForce Now and so on and so forth, so you don't have to have a console if you don't want to. So now we're going to try to get the demo up on the screen and go from there. Okay, we're starting with the HDR demo. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down just because I do not feel like getting hit with any kind of copyright for music. So the first thing we notice is that they're starting with some really bright colors. I can tell you already immediately out of the gate without putting any calibration of any kind into the television for HDR, it's going to be impressive. Simply because of the amount of highlight detail that is kicking off on the screen. And I saw this in the store a little earlier on in the year, and I was set to review this earlier on in the year as well, but you know, life happened. So here we are for a second time, and this time we're going to make sure we're getting it. And I'm telling you right now, I am so excited to see where this goes because it looks really good out of the gate. All the highlights in the world, I'm not gonna lie, really capturing my eye. I cannot wait to see what I can do with it though, now that I'm seeing like things like the strong contrast and the separation, particularly of the foreground to the background. It does seem that it has that ability, especially considering this is out of the box. Now, at a glance, it's clear, but it's not like so clear that like, you know, there's no room for improvement. So I will have to try to do something with clarity. But overall, so far, so good. I don't have any complaints. Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision kicked on now. But again, for audio purposes, I made sure to disable the audio. Motion looks pretty damn incredible, which I expected coming from the G2. Having that experience, the G3 is doing more of the same. That highlight in the sky was amazing back there. Yeah, this is looking like an absolute win. So I think we're going to have a pretty in-depth session with this to really see what it can do. That highlights right now are to fucking die for. Like, they really are impressive. So I can't wait to see what this bad boy does. But I kind of already knew LG was going to nail it with the highlights this year. That brightness booster max already, so damn impressive. This is like LED territory impressive. And I think, I don't know, this is definitely going to give Samsung with the S95B a run for its money if I know like I know. But maybe I could be wrong, we'll see. But I think this really has some massive potential, like immediate potential. But let me know what you guys want to see. Let me know in the comments down below. And thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. We're going to get the ball rolling. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.